Matthew chapters 5 to 7 contain Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, one of his most profound teachings. In the early part of Matthew chapter 5, we find the Beatitudes, where Jesus presents the characteristics of a blessed life. Afterward, he reinterprets the Old Testament law, teaching that murder is not only taking someone's life, but also being angry with someone or ignoring them is considered a form of murder. He also states that even having lustful thoughts is equivalent to committing adultery. Matthew chapter 5 emphasizes that we, as humans, cannot keep God's commandments through our own strength alone. Instead, it teaches us that we can follow His word by being filled with the Holy Spirit. Matthew chapter 6 teaches about 3 key practices for people of faith: giving, praying, and fasting. In all these acts, Jesus instructs us not to do them for the sake of being seen by others, but to do them with our eyes fixed on God, because it is He who gives the true reward. Furthermore, He promises that if we seek first God's kingdom and His righteousness, He will take care of all the things we worry about, as He already knows our needs. God, who cares for the birds of the air and the flowers of the field, asks how much more He would care for people made in His image, urging us to live by faith in Him. This message challenges us to trust in God, even in the midst of the anxiety and worries of modern life, because true peace comes only from God. Matthew chapter 7 is the final chapter of the Sermon on the Mount, and it contains the important teaching that we must first examine ourselves before judging others. Jesus teaches that by first looking at ourselves, we can see others in the right light. By carefully examining ourselves, we avoid making the mistake of giving what is holy to dogs. Furthermore, a person who thoroughly examines themselves will offer prayers that are pleasing to God, and will not be easily deceived by liars, because those who speak lies do not bear good fruit. Jesus also says that those who examine themselves are like someone who builds their house on solid rock. In contrast, those who build their house on lies and false words are like foolish people. When the storms come, the house built on rock will stand firm, while the house built on sand will collapse. Jesus goes on to warn that there are people who will call Him Lord, but still bear bad fruit. Even if they perform great miracles and show powerful signs, they will not enter the kingdom of heaven if they are not acknowledged by the Lord. In other words, those who fail to examine their true spiritual condition will ultimately perish. Therefore, we must first examine ourselves. We need to check if our faith is genuine and if we are truly living according to God's will. Becoming a person of true faith will prevent us from making the mistake of judging others, and it will save us from wasting time and effort on criticizing them. In conclusion, the final message of the Sermon on the Mount is to know yourself. By examining yourself and understanding who you truly are, you will live a life that discerns God's will and follows it. This is the true life of a believer and the path to following Jesus' teachings.